Hello guys, I'm setting myself a challenge. That is, how far can I get in Billionaire Boy by David Williams? Well, we'll have to find out. So let's get started. This will be voice audio.
Billionaire Boy, written and read by David Williams. Chapter 1. Meet Joe Spud. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have £1 billion? Or £1 billion? How about £1 trillion? Or even a gazillion? Meet Joe Spud. Joe didn't have to imagine what it would be like to have loads and loads and loads of money. He was only 12, but he was ridiculously, preposterously rich. Joe had everything he could ever want. 100-inch plasma, widescreen, flat-screen, high-definition TV in every room in the house? Tick. 500 pairs of Nike trainers? Tick. A Grand Prix racetrack in the back garden? Tick. A rowboat dog from Japan? Tick. A golf buggy with a number plate Spud 2 to drive around the grounds of his house? Tick. A water slide which went from his bedroom into an indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool? Tick. Every computer game in the world? Tick. 3D IMAX cinema in the basement? Tick. A crocodile? Tick. 24-hour personal masseuse? Tick. Underground 10-lane bowling alley? Tick. Snooker table? Tick. Popcorn dispenser? Tick. Skateboard park? Tick. Another crocodile? Tick. £100,000 a week pocket money? Tick. A roller coaster in the back garden? Tick. A professional recording studio in the attic? Tick. Personalised football coaching from the England team? Tick. A real-life shark in a tank? Tick.
In short, Joe was the one horribly spoilt kid. He went to a ridiculously posh school. He flew on a private planes whenever he went on holiday. Once he even had his Disney World. He even had Disney World closed for the day, just so he wouldn't have to queue for any of the rides. Here's Joe Spud speeding around his own private racetrack in his Formula One racing car. Picture of Joe on his racetrack with F1 car. Some very rich children have miniature versions of cars especially built for them. Joe wasn't one of those children. Joe needed his Formula car made a bit bigger. He was quite fat, you see. Well, you would be, wouldn't you, if you could buy all the chocolate in the world. You will have noticed that Joe is on his own racetrack in that picture. To tell the truth, speeding around a racetrack isn't that much fun when you're on your own, even if you have £1 squillion. You really needed someone to race against. The problem was, Joe didn't have any friends. Not one. Friends. Now, driving a Formula One car and rapping a king-size Mars bar are two things you shouldn't try and do at the same time. But it had been a few more moments since Joe had at last eaten, and he was hungry. As he entered the Trisons, he tore open the wrapping open the wrapper. His teeth. He He tore open the wrapper with his teeth and took a bite. The delicious chocolate coated nougat and caramel. Unfortunately, Joe had one hand on the steering wheel, and as the wheels of the car hit the verge, he lost control. The multi-million-pound Formula One car careered off the track and spun around and hit a tree. Screech! The tree was unharmed, but the car was a write-off. Joe squeezed himself out the cockpit. Luckily, Joe wasn't hurt. He was a little dazed, and he tottered back to the house. "Dad, I've crashed the car," said Joe as he entered the palatial living room. Mr. Spud was short and fat, just like his son. Hairier in a lot of places too, apart from his head, which was bald and shiny. Joe's dad was sitting on a 100-seater crocodile skin sofa and didn't look up from reading that day's copy of The Sun. The Sun is a British newspaper, by the way. "Don't worry, Joe," he said. "I'll buy you another one." Joe slumped down on the sofa next to his dad. "Oh, happy birthday, by the way, Joe," Mr. Spud handed an envelope to his son without taking his eyes off the girl on page 3. Joe opened the envelope eagerly. How much money was he going to get to receive this year? The card, which read "Happy 12th birthday, son," was quickly discarded in favour of the cheque inside. Cheque! Joe could barely disguise his disappointment. £1,000,000! He scoffed. "Is that all?" "What's the matter, son?" Mr. Spud put down his newspaper for a moment. "You gave me £1 million last year," whined Joe, "when I turned 11. Surely I should get more now I'm 12. Mr. Spud reached into the pocket out of his shiny grey designer suit. He pulled out his checkbook. His suit was horrible and expensive. "I'm so sorry," he said. "Let's make it 2 million. Now it's important you realise Mrs. Spud had not always been this rich. Not so long ago, the Spud family had lived a very humble life from the age of 16. Mr. Spud worked in a very vast loo roll factory on the outskirts of town. Mr. Spud's job at the loo roll factory was so boring. He had to roll the paper around the cardboard in a tube. Well, that sounds boring. Roll after roll, day after day, year after year, decade after decade. This he did over and over again until nearly all his hope had gone. He would stand all day by the conveyor belt with hundreds of other bored workers repeating the same mind-numbing task. Every time the paper was rolled onto one cardboard tube, the whole thing started again, and every loo roll was the same, because the family was so poor. Mr. Spud used to make birthday and Christmas presents for his son from the loo roll. From the loo roll in a tube. Mr. Spud never had enough money to buy Joe all the latest toys, but would make him something like a loo roll racing car or a loo roll fort, complete with dozens of loo roll soldiers. Most of them got broken and ended up in the bin. Joe managed to set even sad-looking little loo roll space rocket, though he wasn't sure why. The only good thing about working in a factory was Mr. Spud had lots of time to daydream. One day he had a daydream that he wants to revolutionise bottom wiping forever. Why not invent a loo roll that is moist on one side and dry on the other? He thought, as he unrolled his paper around his 1000th roll of the day. Mr. Spud kept his idea top secret and toiled rows locked in the bathroom of their little council flat, getting his new double-sided loo roll exactly right. When Mr. Spud finally launched Fresh Bum, it was an instant momentum. Mr. Spud sold 1 billion rolls around the world every day, and every time a roll was sold, he made 10p. It all added up to an awful lot of money. As simple math equation shows, 10p times 1 billion, 10p times 1 billion rolls times 365 days a year, a lot of hunger. What does that make? It makes a lot of hunger. Joe Spud was only 8 at the time Fresh Bum was launched, and his life was turned upside down in a heartbeat. First Joe's mum and dad split up. It turned out that for many years Joe's mum, Carol, had been having a torrid affair with Joe's Cub Scout leader, Alan. She took a £10 billion divorce settlement. Alan swapped his canoe for a gigantic yacht. Last anyone heard, Carol crunching up cornflakes every morning. Joe's dad seemed to get over the split quickly and began going on dates with an endless parade of page 3 girls. Soon, father and son moved out of their poky council flat and into an enormous stately home. Mr. Spud named it Fresh Bum Towers. The house was so large it was visible from space. It took 5 minutes just to motor up the drive. Hundreds of newly planted